Welcome to the Kathleen Project, capturing Manchester's industrial past. The voices you will hear in this series will tell you of their experience working in Manchester's 20th century garment industry. In this episode, Vera will tell of her time working as a piece worker in a factory in Manchester city centre in the mid-1960s.
I started working when I was 14, when I left school. I didn't have any good qualifications. So in them days, you went working as a machinist. I started as a machinist at Alan Rogers, so that would be 1964.
And whereabouts was that in Manchester?
Alan Rogers was in Piccadilly in Manchester, across the road where the BBC television used to be, but that's gone now. Down there in a factory, it was about the 4th floor. We used to have to get the lift to go up to where I worked. It was quite, I wouldn't say it was modern, it was quite cold. The room wasn't all that big, it wasn't massive. It had all machines there, I'd say about 10 or 12 machines. It was a pedal machine in them days, the old-fashioned Singer. So first of all, they got us to do one day to sew just materials, to turn it over, how to use the machine, how to thread it, and how to use it if the needle broke. In them days, they were expensive, and you should be breaking the needles, maybe one a month, but maybe not 2 or 3 a week.
And was there anybody coming in to maintain the machines, or was that down to you to make sure it was working?
No, some people did come in, some machines did break down. The overlocking machines or other machines, and somebody did come in and repair it. But we was always happy if it broke, because, you know, we'd think we're going to do nothing. But no, they found us something to do, either washing the pots in the kitchen or maybe brushing the floor or tidying up. So we didn't just sit there and do nothing.
And so what were you making?
Well, I was making smoking jackets and I was making the belts. Smoking jackets was made of silk. Very, very nice, the silk. I love the silk. All different colours and different patterns. Very hard to put through the machine to do the pockets. You had to be very, very careful because it was very slippy under the machine. Sometimes it would slide or the needle would pull. So I was doing that, and I was making the belts as well. Doing the strip, turning them inside out, betting a big stick, turning it back inside out and stitching it a little bit on the belt so you couldn't see the stitches. And then I was doing blazers. School blazers. Did the pockets and I did the badge. So I was doing 3 pockets, a badge and a pocket at the top and 2 pockets at the bottom for the blazers for the school children.
And the patterns that they used, was that just a standard sort of tissue paper pattern?
Yes, I think it was in them. Yeah, I think it was like that, yeah. Everything was cut out for the blazers and for the smoking jackets as well. There was somebody had a big table where the material come and they cut it all out there. It didn't come where it's already cut out. So it's all sections. Somebody did overlapping on that section, somebody did that section. So the last section come to me because I was very good at doing the pockets.
So did you all get on?
We all got on, yeah, we all got on. We all sat at the they had a little canteen as well where we all sit and had it was half an hour I think then, and half an hour breaks. My friend used to fetch jam butties, but I used to fetch board hand butties, so I used to give my friend Irene some board hand butties.
Was it just one break in the day?
Just one break in the day, yes.
And what were your working hours? When did you start? When did you finish?
I think we started quite early there. I think it was 8 o'clock. It could have been 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock, yeah.
And how long was the shift?
8. That was 10 hours that to working, yes. Sometimes we left at 5 o'clock. It just depended how the boss, you know, he said, "Oh, go home early." But he was a very nice boss. We couldn't complain about him. I remember for Christmas, we all got a big box of Thornton chocolates. Now, them in them days had 3 layers. And we all got a box to take home. Well, me and Irene wasn't going to take them home. In our dinner hour, we sat outside the step and we ate nearly most of the chocolates. And actually, I think we ate the rest because we didn't want to take them home. Because if I would have took the chocolates home to my grandma and I'd opened the box, there would be trouble. So my grandma was very strict.
And how much did you get paid?
Well, we got paid. I didn't think we got paid a lot there. We got our wages at the end of the week. I can't remember now how much the wages was. It wasn't a lot, but I had with my grandma, and I had to give my wage packet to my grandma in them days. That was the way it was. You didn't open the packet, you took the packet home, and my grandma decided how much, bus fare, how much she would give me back. It wasn't a lot. If I wanted to go out to a club, if I wanted to buy anything, it was difficult, because that was the time then. You come on with your wage packet, you give it to your person, you don't open it, and before you had your dinner. If I went home now to my grandma's and I had my wage packet and I didn't give it to her and my tea was put on the table, I wouldn't get any tea.
So how long did you spend learning the job?
I'd say learning the job to do could be 6 months, but once we learnt the job, we didn't like it. You're on piecework now. We had to take the little dockets off. Say I got 12 blazers to do, 12 lots of pockets, or 12 lots of smoking jackets. When you did them all, you got the little slip and took it off, put it in your drawer, and at the end of the day, they were all added up, how many you've done. There was a lady there, an elderly lady, and she was very, very particular. She was always fetching the work back. She would come along and I thought, oh no, she's coming down to my machine, because I had to unpick them all, unpick all the pockets, do it again. And by the time I'd done all that, I've lost money because I haven't done my own work. I'm not getting my little dockets to put in my drawer for the end of the day to add how much money I've earned. So when I went on my own time, it wasn't the same. I could have an easy time when I was learning. And she didn't come a lot to the people who'd worked there longer because they were okay.
So was she like a manager, one of the bosses? Or
no,
was
she was just to check. She ironed and she checked. She measured everything by the measure.
And in terms of the bosses?
Yes, it was Mr. Alan Rogers. He was a very nice boss, him. And we had somebody called Muriel. She was like in charge of us. Muriel worked at the palace at the night time. She had an extra job, Muriel. She was never married. But she was all right to get on with. We had to be nice to her. She was like the manager, but Alan Rogers was the boss.
Was there like a uniform you had to wear?
No, there was no uniform. We had to wear flat shoes, though, when we were using the pedal on the machine. You couldn't wear high heels. You had to have flat shoes because you were doing the pedaling the machine. So we all used to come with slippers. We used to change our shoes in a bag.
And what the workforce were wearing? Were they quite fashionable themselves, or not so much?
We used to have a young girl coming called Sheila, and she was very fashionable. Her clothes were very nice, makeup and lipstick on. She looked very nice. We all used to look at her doing the machinery, how pretty she was.
But that wasn't the norm?
No, the rest of us just wore very old-fashioned clothes in them, long skirts and jumpers.
And was it a good business? Did it have a good reputation?
I think he had a good reputation because we did a lot of blazers. We must have done a lot of blazers. I'd say about, there could be 20 or 30 blazers or more was going out. They said to me one day, did I want to go on pressing, because the lady didn't come in, and I went on the pressing to press the blazers. The blazers had to be steamed a lot. The pockets in that steamed them.
Yeah. And is that because of what they were made of?
Yes, because they wanted it to be steamed. If not, they would be a bit bulky. But we had to use a lot of steam, but not on the smoking jackets. No, that was very delicate for that with the silk.
So how long did you stay at the factory?
I must have stayed at the factory for about 3 years. I stayed at the factory for 3 years.
And so with the sewing that
yes.
you learned, did you make your own clothes?
No, I didn't actually, but I wish I would have learnt more by making dresses. Pockets and smoking jackets was not really, I needed to learn more to do dresses myself. But I'd like to know if there's anybody out there in them days who did buy a smoking jacket, a silk smoking jacket to have a cigarette, get in touch to say, you did have a smoking jacket what I made.
Thank you for listening to this episode of the Kathleen Project. The project is brought to you by Stitched Up and supported by Historic England. For more information, please contact Stitched Up at hello@stitchedup.coop or on Instagram or Facebook @stitchedupcoop.